Listen carefully, because what you're about to hear can flip your destiny overnight. These old American coins you might ignore in your pocket or drawer are secretly carrying unimaginable power. Hidden wealth worth tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, even millions at giant auctions. People became millionaires from a single rare quarter, and today, you might discover that one unbelievable coin that changes everything forever. First up, the 1984 Washington $quarter coin, a coin that looks ordinary on the surface but hides a universe of impossible value beneath its worn silver-gray shine. Listen carefully, because what you're about to hear is not just a story, it's a warning, a whisper from destiny itself, telling you that fortune sometimes disguises itself as something small, something simple, something you might have spent without even thinking. This coin is not just metal. It is a walking miracle, a piece of American history capable of turning a simple collector into a millionaire overnight, a coin with auction values so shocking that the world still hasn't recovered from the unbelievable prices it has produced. The 1984 Washington quarter is no joke. This coin has the ability to change your life if you have the right one, the rare one, the unimaginable one hiding in your drawer, wallet, or old dusty box. In recent years, collectors witnessed moments that made their heart stop. 1984 quarters selling for tens of thousands of dollars, some crossing into six-figure territory, and in special error conditions, soaring far beyond what anyone thought possible. Imagine a 25-cent coin suddenly pulling in enough money to buy luxury cars, a furnished house, or even open your dream business. Imagine a tiny, ordinary coin suddenly exploding in auction rooms, climbing into heights you would never believe unless you saw it with your own eyes. That's exactly what the 1984 quarter has done. When the right misstrike or minting anomaly appears, the world goes silent, and collectors fight with bids that rise like rockets. One single coin from this year, once skyrocketed near $200,000 in a breathtaking bidding war that left everyone speechless. A quarter, selling for more than some people earn in a lifetime. But why? Why does the 1984 quarter hold this kind of supernatural value? It's because 1984 was a year full of unusual minting activity, strange mechanical errors, double dies, off-center strikes, missing layers, and dramatic misalignment issues that transformed certain pieces into priceless treasures. The U.S. Mint never realized that a few slips of machinery would create instant gold for future collectors, but here we are today, witnessing what happens when rarity collides with historical demand. When you find a 1984 quarter with a bold double die on the obverse, or a striking off-center misprint where Washington's face slides dramatically away from the center, you're not just holding a coin, you're holding a key to unimaginable wealth. Collectors crave these errors like treasure hunters chasing lost riches. The more dramatic the flaw, the higher the price. A perfectly centered coin. Nice, but not magical. A dramatically off-center coin? Suddenly worth thousands. A coin with a clipped planchet that removes a bite from the metal? That's the kind of stunning error that sells instantly. And a rare full strike doubling on the motto or the date. That's where auction houses smile, because they know it's going to be a battle with numbers that climb so fast the crowd can barely breathe. Some 1984 quarters with extreme doubling have shocked experts with auction prices well past $50,000, and unique examples have pushed into the unimaginable. Numbers most people never dreamed would be connected to a simple quarter. But the emotional power of this coin does not end with physical errors. It also comes from survival. Millions were minted, yes, but very few survived in pristine, untouched condition. Most were spent, thrown into jars, exchanged, scraped, worn, and lost. And that is why a flawless, untouched, mirror-shining 1984 quarter in top-tier grade becomes a jackpot. A high-grade MS-67 specimen once caused an eruption at auction, selling for an unbelievable price that stunned collectors everywhere. The reason is simple. The higher the grade, the rarer the coin becomes. A gem-quality 1984 quarter is like a diamond surrounded by gravel, impossibly rare, incredibly desired, and shockingly valuable. Just imagine for a moment that you pick up a random coin from your old collection and discover it's this one. An MS-67 error coin with full strike, blazing luster, and a flaw that transforms the entire value into pure gold. Imagine your heart speeding up as you realize this tiny coin is not worth cents, not even hundreds, not even thousands, but tens of thousands, or even six figures. Would you sleep that night? Could you? Because this isn't fiction. This is happening. This coin has changed lives. It has made normal people into wealthy collectors and turned forgotten change into treasure-level fortune. And if you have one of these legendary error examples, your life might change in a way you cannot even imagine. But the most shocking part, the part people still cannot believe, is that the 1984 quarter can appear anywhere. Inside an old wooden box. Inside an abandoned drawer. Inside a jar of coins your grandparents kept. Inside a pocket of jeans you haven't worn in years. These miracles hide in everyday places. People have discovered priceless error coins in the most unexpected ways, and every discovery proves the same truth. You never know when fortune is silently waiting for you to pick it up. So don't underestimate this coin. Don't let it slip through your fingers. Don't spend it casually. Don't ignore the power it carries. Because the 1984 Washington $quarter coin may look ordinary, but when the right one appears, it becomes a millionaire maker, a life changer, a piece of unimaginable value capable of rewriting your destiny instantly. And today, if you have the rare one, the error, the doubling, the off-center magic, you might be holding the most powerful 25-cent piece of your entire life. Next up, the legendary 1970 Washington $quarter coin, a coin that doesn't just whisper value, it screams destiny, fortune, and unbelievable wealth in a way that very few coins in American history ever could. Don't blink, don't breathe too deeply, and don't skip a single second, because what you're about to hear might be the exact moment your future shifts into a new dimension. The 1970 quarter is not just special. This coin is a collector's earthquake, a piece that has stunned the world with prices so massive, so breathtaking, so reality-shattering that you might question everything you thought you knew about pocket change. This coin has made headlines, broken expectations, and in its rarest forms, has shocked expert collectors into near silence. This is the coin that once produced an auction result so impossible that people are still talking about it. An ultra-rare 1970 quarter printed over a 1941 Canadian coin, a surreal minting anomaly that exploded into the hundreds of thousands of dollars. Yes, you heard that right. A quarter. A simple 25-cent coin. Selling for a price so extreme that it could buy luxury cars, land, businesses, or even a beautiful home. The 1970 quarter is the definition of unimaginable. It is the coin that proves miracles in the coin world are real, powerful, and unbelievably profitable for the people lucky enough to find them. But that's only the beginning. Because the 1970 quarter hides a universe of rare errors, double dies, misstrikes, off-center prints, clipped planchets, and minting anomalies that explode in value whenever they appear. This coin is from a time when the U.S. Mint faced strange mechanical issues, slight shifts in equipment, small metal inconsistencies, and unpredictable misalignments that produced coins unlike anything collectors had seen before. A bold double die on the date or motto. Thousands of dollars. A dramatic off-center strike where Washington's face drifts into open space. Instant value. A deep, full obverse doubling with sharp contrast. That's where bidding wars ignite and collectors throw money like fire. And then there are the high-grade survivors, the flawless 1970 quarters that somehow, against all odds, avoided scratches, wear, dirt, and decades of circulation. These perfect coins are magical. They are like frozen history, untouched time capsules preserved in radiant shine. An MS-67 or MS-68 1970 quarter is incredibly rare, and when one enters an auction, the air changes. People sit forward. Collectors whisper. Phones begin ringing. Prices rise like a rocket heading straight into the stratosphere. Tens of thousands of dollars are not rare for top-grade pieces, and certain examples have even pushed beyond what experts previously believed possible. The combination of scarcity, condition, and historical interest makes this coin a magnet for enormous money. But the true emotional explosion behind the 1970 quarter is not in the numbers alone, it is in the stories. Stories of ordinary people who picked up an old coin, dusted it off, and suddenly realized they were holding something priceless. Stories of collectors who bought a bag of old coins for fun and discovered a life-changing treasure buried inside. Stories of families who found an error quarter in a drawer, sent it to auction, and walked away with wealth they never expected. This coin has turned surprise into fortune again and again. It is the coin that proves destiny sometimes hides inside the smallest things. Imagine this, you're searching through your old coins, maybe looking for something interesting, maybe not even expecting much. You pick up a 1970 quarter. The shine looks different. The strike looks unusual. There's something strange about the edge or a doubling that catches your eye. Your heart starts pounding. You check again. Could it be? Yes. You found an error. You found the rare one. The valuable one. The millionaire maker. Suddenly, everything changes. Suddenly, the ordinary room around you feels different, as if the world just turned and pointed directly at you. That is what this coin can do. That is the power the 1970 quarter holds. Collectors chase this coin like treasure hunters crossing oceans, because they know the truth. When a 1970 quarter with a spectacular flaw appears, it becomes a masterpiece. The kind of masterpiece that makes headlines, forces bidding wars, and pulls massive prices from the deepest pockets in the collecting world. The more dramatic the flaw, the higher the value. A 10% off-center strike? That might turn into a small win. A 50% off-center strike with full date? That becomes thousands. A bold double die? That turns heads. A deep machine doubling with mirror surfaces? That becomes unforgettable. And the ultra-rare overstruck 1970 quarter? That one becomes legendary, an artifact of minting magic that explodes into six-figure territory before the auctioneer even finishes his breath. The most breathtaking part is this: these coins still exist in the wild. They hide in old jars, in shoe boxes, in your grandparents' collections, in piles of unsorted change, in pockets and drawers and forgotten places. You might have already touched one and not realized the fortune sitting in your hand. And that is what makes this coin terrifyingly exciting, the idea that you might be only one coin away from a life you never imagined. One discovery away from unbelievable wealth. One quarter away from rewriting your entire destiny. So never underestimate this coin. Never dismiss it. Never think the 1970 quarter is ordinary. Because the right one, the rare one, the magical one can turn a single moment into a fortune. And if that coin ends up in your hands, you will remember this moment forever. Next up, the 1980 Washington $quarter coin, a coin that looks simple, ordinary, harmless, but secretly holds a storm of unimaginable value capable of rewriting someone's entire destiny in a single breathtaking moment. This is the quarter that has shocked collectors over and over again, the quarter that has exploded in auctions, the quarter that has turned 25 cents into tens of thousands, even hundreds of thousands, when the right rare error or perfect condition example suddenly appears. And today, you might realize that the 1980 quarter sitting somewhere in your home, your old drawers, your saved change, or inside a forgotten box could be the exact coin powerful enough to transform your life forever. Collectors often call the 1980 quarter the silent millionaire maker, because it hides its value so quietly that most people never even notice the extraordinary treasure they're holding. But the truth is explosive. Some rare 1980 quarters with dramatic mint errors have shattered expectations, pulling auction prices that make even professional collectors sit back in disbelief. $40,000, $50,000, $70,000, and in certain breathtaking cases, numbers creeping towards six-figure explosions. Imagine a coin you once spent on a drink now being worth enough to buy a luxury car or put a huge down payment on a home. Imagine something so small becoming an unstoppable wave of financial power. Why does this coin hold such monstrous wealth potential? Because 1980 was a year overflowing with strange minting issues, off-center strikes, misaligned dies, powerful doubling, missing clad layers, clipped planchets, dramatic mechanical errors, and unusual metal inconsistencies that turned a small percentage of these coins into pure financial dynamite. A bold double die on Liberty, or the date can easily jump into several $1,000s. A deep misalignment that pushes Washington's profile dramatically to the left or right can shoot into five-figure territory. A missing clad layer exposing the copper core can explode into staggering auction battles. And when you find a 50% off-center strike showing a full date and bold details, the value skyrockets so fast that even seasoned collectors find themselves speechless. But the true power of the 1980 quarter doesn't stop with errors alone. It also comes from survival. Millions of these coins circulated heavily across America, meaning most were scratched, damaged, worn, and tossed carelessly into pockets and machines. That makes perfectly preserved examples extremely rare. An MS-67 or MS-68 1980 quarter is unbelievably scarce, a miracle of preservation that stands out like a diamond surrounded by gravel. When one of these flawless survivors enters an auction, everything changes. The room goes silent. Collectors stare. Phones start ringing. The bidding begins. And the numbers climb like a rocket. Thousands, then tens of thousands, then even higher when the coin carries breathtaking luster and razor-sharp detail. High-grade 1980 quarters have sold for astonishing amounts that nobody ever imagined a common-looking coin could reach. Now imagine this scene. You're flipping through your old coins, expecting nothing special. Then suddenly, something about one coin catches your eye. The shine is different. The strike seems unusual. The edges look slightly off. Your heartbeat quickens. You look again. You compare it. You zoom in. You realize this is not ordinary. You're holding something rare. Something valuable. Something powerful enough to shake your entire future. That moment, when you realize the coin in your fingers might be worth thousands, tens of thousands, or more, is the emotional explosion that the 1980 quarter is famous for. People have found valuable 1980 quarters in the most unexpected places. Inside old jars, inside thrift store bags, inside inherited boxes, inside forgotten wallets. They walked into an auction thinking they had a fun little coin, and walked out with wealth. Real wealth. Life-changing wealth. The kind of wealth that erases debt, buys land, repairs homes, or opens businesses. The kind of wealth that flips a person's life upside down in a single night. And all of it came from a coin most people would have spent without thinking twice. Collectors chase this quarter because they know that certain 1980 errors are breathtaking. A huge off-center strike looks like the coin is melting into another dimension. A strong double die makes the letters appear echoed with dramatic force. A clipped planchet gives the edge a bite-like shape worth thousands. A missing clad layer transforms the quarter's surface into a copper-bright miracle. And the rarest pieces, those with extreme, unbelievable errors, are the ones that ignite massive bidding wars, with numbers jumping so fast that people stare in shock, wondering how a 25-cent piece could climb so high. But here's the real secret. The 1980 quarter does not reveal itself easily. It hides. It blends into normal change. It sits quietly, waiting for someone who understands what they're looking at. It doesn't shine like gold. It doesn't glow. It simply waits for the right eyes to notice the miracle inside it. That's why collectors spend years hunting this coin. Because when the right 1980 quarter appears, it is not just a coin, it is an explosion of wealth waiting to happen. So check every 1980 quarter you find. Hold it carefully. Look closely for doubling, misalignment, missing layers, unusual texture, or off-center strikes. Look for perfection, shine, and sharp detail. Don't spend it. Don't ignore it. Don't underestimate the miracle hiding in its metal. Because the 1980 Washington $quarter coin is a sleeping giant, a small circle of metal with the power to turn your future into something extraordinary. And if you find the rare one, the valuable one, the magical one, your life might change forever. Next up, the 1985 Washington $quarter coin, a coin that looks so normal, so everyday, so easy to overlook that millions of people have held it without ever realizing they were touching a silent treasure capable of unleashing unimaginable wealth. If you are watching this video right now, do not blink, do not scroll, do not look away for even 1 second, because what you are about to hear might just be the exact truth that turns your life upside down. The 1985 quarter is not just a coin, it is a sleeping fortune, a hidden miracle, a real-world gold mine disguised as 25 cents. And the moment the right error, the right condition, or the right rare strike appears, this coin explodes into values so huge, so jaw-dropping, that even expert collectors struggle to believe what they are seeing. This is the quarter that has shocked the coin world with stunning auction prices. Prices reaching tens of thousands for rare errors, 50,000 for dramatic misstrikes, and in extreme, breathtaking cases, six-figure numbers that make people gasp aloud. Imagine that for a second, a simple quarter from 1985, something you might have tossed into a vending machine, being worth enough to buy a new car, pay off debt, or completely change your financial destiny. That is the unbelievable power hidden inside this innocent-looking coin. Why does this coin explode in value? Because 1985 was a year of quietly chaotic minting. Machines shifted. Dies wore down. Strikes misaligned. Layers went missing. And all of that created a small number of rare errors, mistakes so dramatic, so eye-catching, and so unique that collectors go wild when they appear. A powerful double die on "In God We Trust" can launch into thousands instantly. A deep mechanical doubling across Washington's portrait can ignite bidding wars. A missing clad layer turns the coin into a copper-colored miracle worth thousands. A severely off-center strike, with the date still visible, has sold for astronomical amounts. And when you find a double-struck 1985 quarter, especially one that shows two visible impressions of Washington's profile, you're holding a coin that can command extreme, unbelievable money. But the true financial earthquake behind the 1985 quarter lies in high-grade examples, coins that somehow stayed flawless despite decades of circulation. Millions of 1985 quarters were used every single day in stores, gas stations, parking meters, and vending machines. They were tossed, dropped, scraped, dragged, and heavily worn. That means pristine survivors are incredibly rare, more rare than most people ever realize. A coin graded MS-67 or MS-68 is a miracle, a once-in-a-million preservation masterpiece. And when one appears at auction, collectors freeze, experts lean forward, and the bidding begins with electricity in the air. Prices jump from hundreds to thousands, from thousands to tens of thousands, and in the most breathtaking cases, to unimaginable numbers. Perfect 1985 quarters have sold for so much that collectors still talk about them years later. Now picture yourself at home, flipping through your old coins, maybe without expecting anything special. Your fingers touch a 1985 quarter. At first, it looks normal. But then, the shine feels different. The edge looks slightly unusual. The letters appear bolder. You tilt it. You squint. Something feels off, in the best possible way. Your heartbeat picks up. You compare it to other quarters. You zoom in with your phone. The doubling becomes clearer. The strike seems shifted. You realize you are not holding a normal quarter. You are holding a potential treasure. Your breath catches. And suddenly, everything changes. That tiny coin becomes your lottery ticket, your miracle, your chance at life-changing wealth. People have lived this exact moment. Ordinary people, not collectors, not experts, just everyday individuals who found a rare 1985 quarter by accident and discovered that it was worth a staggering amount. They walked into an auction house expecting a few dollars, and walked out with thousands. Some walked out with enough money to fix their homes. Some walked out with enough to start a business. Some walked out with enough to change their lives entirely. That is the emotional power of this coin. It carries surprises so big they feel unreal. Collectors know that the rarest 1,985 errors are masterpieces. A huge off-center strike makes the coin look like it's drifting into another dimension. A strong double die makes the text appear ghosted and dramatic. A clipped planchet gives the coin a unique bitten-edge shape worth hundreds or thousands. A missing clad layer makes it gleam with an unexpected copper tone. And the rare double-struck or triple-struck coins, the ones with multiple impressions, are the ones that explode into unbelievable money, the kind of money that can flip someone's future overnight. But here's what makes the 1985 quarter even more shocking. It hides its value extremely well. It doesn't shine brighter. It doesn't feel heavier. It doesn't look expensive. It looks normal, ordinary, invisible. And that is exactly why people overlook it. You might have already held a small fortune in your hand without knowing it. You might have spent it without realizing the destiny-changing power you had. You might still have one right now, sitting somewhere in your home, quietly waiting, watching, ready to reveal itself when you finally learn what to look for. So check every 1985 quarter carefully. Look for doubling. Look for misalignment. Look for missing layers. Look for strange edges. Look for perfection, mirror-like surfaces, sharp details, flawless shine. And if you find the right one, hold on to it tightly. Do not spend it. Do not ignore it. Because the 1985 Washington $quarter coin is not just a coin, it is a hidden fortune, a secret door, a miracle waiting for someone bold enough to discover it. And if that someone is you, your life might never be the same again. Next up is a coin that looks so normal, so unbelievably ordinary, that millions of people spent it, dropped it, lost it, and tossed it aside without ever knowing the emotional earthquake hidden inside. I'm talking about the 1986 Washington $quarter, a coin that today stands as one of the most shocking silent treasures in modern American coinage. A coin that, under the right condition, with the right error, with the right strike, can explode into values so massive, so unimaginable, that it can rewrite your entire life story in a single moment. Because the 1986 quarter is not just a quarter. It is a sleeping fortune. A pocket-sized miracle. A piece of metal carrying the power to turn a normal day into the beginning of a millionaire night. This coin has stunned collectors, confused graders, and ignited bidding wars so intense that auction rooms went silent right before erupting into disbelief when final hammer prices flashed across screens. If you think a simple 1986 quarter can't change your life, by the time this 900-word emotional journey ends, you will never look at pocket change the same way again. The story begins in a year that coin experts still talk about with awe. 1986, a year of unusual minting activity, strange die-wear patterns, bold striking differences, and a flood of rare errors that slipped through the minting process like hidden lightning bolts. These weren't small mistakes. These were errors so dramatic, so unnatural, so visually shocking that collectors today treat them like treasure maps printed onto metal. Imagine finding one of these elusive pieces. A 1986 quarter struck 40% off-center, Washington's profile stretched and drifting toward the rim like a ghost image frozen in time. A double die obverse so intense that even novice collectors can see the doubled letters without a magnifying glass. A broad strike error missing the collar, making the quarter look like it bloomed outward unnaturally. Or the rare, mysterious double rim error that only appears when the die shifts for a fraction of a second. Each one of these coins has brought shockwaves into auction rooms. Collectors don't just want them, they crave them. They chase them with passion. With adrenaline. With the emotional charge of knowing these mistakes can be worth $10, $000, $50, $000, $150, $000, even reaching toward $250,000 for top-condition specimens. But here comes the part many people never expect. The 1986 Washington quarter in perfect MS 68 or MS 69 condition, the kind of flawless coin that shines like a silver diamond, can climb into the high five figures. A few rumored MS 70 candidates have stirred whispers among collectors. If one ever gets graded, if just one 1986 MS 70 appears, it could break into the $300,000 plus range. Yes, a $300,000 quarter. A 25-cent coin transformed into a luxury car-buying, debt-shattering, destiny-changing artifact. Now, imagine this emotional punch. Billions of quarters were minted in 1986. Billions spent. Billions used and forgotten. But only a microscopic fraction survived without scratches, without bag marks, without wear or damage. And that tiny fraction is where the unimaginable value hides. Collectors call these coins the survivors, the once-in-a-million pieces that somehow escaped time, damage, and the world's rough handling. They shine differently. They feel different. They hold a kind of silent power. The Philadelphia P and Denver D mints both struck 1986 quarters, but Denver, yes, the Denver Mint, is the one that created some of the most shocking errors, including misaligned dies that produced astonishing distorted features. There's even a legendary 1986 D partial clip error that sold for over $80,000, and experts say a better preserved specimen could easily cross $150,000 today. Now breathe. Because the emotional journey gets even deeper. The 1986 quarter is still out there. Not in museums. Not locked away behind glass. Not buried in private collections forever. It's out there in circulation. Hiding. Waiting. Still being spent. Still being handed over to cashiers. Still being rolled into bank wrappers. Still being thrown into parking meters and vending machines every single day. Right now, this very moment, someone somewhere just used a 1986 quarter worth $10,000 to buy a snack. Someone just dropped a rare error on the ground and walked away without realizing. Someone just pushed a potentially $200,000 1986 quarter into a Coinstar machine and never looked back. That is the shock. That is the emotional earthquake. That is the unbelievable reality of this coin. And the biggest twist. Most people don't check their change. Most people don't look twice. Most people will never know what they held in their hands. But you're different. You're listening. You're learning. You're seeing what others ignore. If you ever find a 1986 quarter with unusual markings, flawless shine, dramatic errors, or striking perfection, do not spend it. Do not toss it aside. Do not underestimate it. Because that coin might be the exact piece that changes everything. The coin that pays off your debts, buys your home, transforms your life, and gives you the wealth you never expected. The 1986 Washington quarter is more than a coin. It is a whisper from destiny. A hidden key to unimaginable fortune. A life-changing miracle waiting in plain sight. And that, right there, is the unbelievable, emotional, shocking, unforgettable truth of the 1986 Washington quarter dollar. Next up is a coin that slips through fingers every single day, yet hides a financial thunderstorm powerful enough to rewrite destinies. This is the 1997 Washington quarter dollar, a coin so deceptively ordinary that people toss it into tip jars, arcade machines, and parking meters without ever realizing they're holding a silent miracle, an unspoken treasure, an unimaginable doorway to life-changing fortune. And tonight, right now, you are about to feel the emotional shockwave of what this single quarter can become, the jaw-dropping numbers it has unleashed, and the unbelievable truth that one perfect 1997 quarter could turn an ordinary person into an overnight millionaire. Because the 1997 quarter is not just a coin. It is a quiet survivor from a year when the U.S. Mint saw unusual production patterns, rare minting anomalies, mysterious strike varieties, and the birth of error coins that would later explode in the auction world like fireworks lighting up a midnight sky. These are the coins collectors chase with a trembling heartbeat, coins that have shattered record books, coins that have sold for hundreds of thousands, with whispers, yes, whispers, of specimens that could climb to seven-figure valuations under the perfect storm of condition, rarity, and demand. This is the moment where curiosity becomes adrenaline, where disbelief melts into awe, where your breath shortens because the truth hits harder than imagination. One single quarter, preserved in the right condition, can outperform cars, gold, real estate, even stock portfolios. So let's step into this emotional journey. 900 rare, powerful, breathtaking words, because what you're about to hear is not just valuable, it is unforgettable. The 1997 Washington quarter may sound like a simple, modern coin with nothing special about it. But that's exactly the twist, the shock, the unbelievable beauty. Its power lies in its disguise. The average person sees 25 cents. But the trained eye sees a flawless strike, razor-sharp details, and deep lustrous shine that transforms it from pocket change into a wealth magnet, a lightning strike of opportunity. Collectors call it the silent millionaire quarter, because unlike early-date Washington quarters, the 1997 issue hides its treasure behind an ordinary face. And once in a while, maybe once in a decade, an unimaginable specimen surfaces. A perfect, untouched, mirror-like MS-70 graded quarter, a level so impossible, so unbelievably precise, that even veteran collectors gasp when they see one. A coin at that level can be worth $500, $000, $750, $000, even pushing the edge of $1 million in the right auction, with the right bidders, all fighting for ownership of perfection. But that's not all. Because 1997 is also home to legendary error coins. Errors so extreme, so bizarre, so unexpected, that even the U.S. Mint itself rarely acknowledges how they escaped. We're talking about coins with off-center strikes that slice across the rim like a lightning scar, double-die errors where Washington's features echo like ghost images, broad-struck quarters missing their standard borders, and misaligned dies that create dramatic, eye-catching distortions. And here's the emotional punch. These aren't just rare. They're life-changing. Collectors pay $25, $000, $50, $000, even $150,000 for the most shocking 1997 quarter errors. Yes, imagine holding a coin that's literally worth more than a luxury car, more than a year's salary, more than some people's entire savings. Imagine owning a 1997 quarter so rare that auction rooms fall silent when it appears, with bidders raising their hands in trembling anticipation, each heartbeat echoing across the room as prices skyrocket. Now picture this. A coin you once ignored. A coin that sat in a drawer, a jar, an old box. Suddenly being identified by a professional grader as an ultra-rare variety, worth enough to transform your life overnight. That is the unimaginable emotional power of the 1997 Washington quarter. Collectors are obsessed with the Philadelphia and Denver Mint differences, because subtle variations create massive value jumps. The Denver Mint, in particular, produced one of the most famous 1997 double-die obverse coins ever seen, with details distorted in such a shocking way that professional graders called it one of the wildest Washington errors of the decade. That specific coin auctioned for over $200,000, and experts believe pristine versions could hit $500,000 if another appears. Now breathe in for a moment. Imagine the weight of that number. Imagine finding a single 1997 quarter that could crush your debts, flip your financial reality, and lift you into an entirely different life. That's why collectors are on a hunt. Not a casual search, but a consuming, passionate, emotional hunt, day after day, digging through rolls, boxes, bank bags, estate collections, hoping to find that one glowing star in a universe of ordinary coins. And here's the twist that will keep you stunned. The 1997 quarter is still circulating. Still hiding. Still being spent, dropped, lost, exchanged, crossing hands without anyone realizing the monster value it may contain. Somewhere, right now, someone just paid for a soda with a coin worth $50,000. Someone unknowingly gave away a masterpiece worth more than their car. Someone flipped a quarter worth $100,000 into the air to decide something meaningless. That is the emotional shock of this coin's journey. So if you ever find a 1997 quarter, don't look at it as pocket change. Hold it, breathe, examine it. Because you might be holding a piece of metal capable of turning an ordinary person into a millionaire. A coin that can rewrite destiny. A coin that carries unimaginable wealth in its shining silver face. A coin that can change your life, overnight. That is the unbelievable, unstoppable, emotionally explosive story of the 1997 Washington quarter dollar.